Happy Tree Friends is one of those shows you either love or hate. It's understandable as to why, though. The basis of the show and the contents featured inside of it are graphic, to say the least. But I can admit, in the past few months, the show has really become a guilty pleasure for me. It's fun, if you're in the right mindset for it. It's like Final Destination, but, for furries. My love for the show has led me to discovering more and more of its history, including scrap concepts and ideas. Yesterday, I decided to rework the scrap character of the cyborg, making them into more of a fan character. So, I thought to myself, why not redesign and polish more scrap designs? After all, if I could do it with one character, why couldn't I do it with others? I decided to start with one of the most infamous scrap characters, Chef Sloth, or as most of the fandom calls him, Cookie, which I have to say is a really fun name. This character apparently was intended to be in the final lineup of the cast, but couldn't make it due to probably how long this character's whole bit would be. You see, Cookie's whole gimmick was that he was a chef, but being a sloth always proceeded to make his recipes super slow. The show originally started with minute-long segments, so Cookie's bit would never really fit. Pun intended. Wait, no, not pun. That's rhyming. Max, that's rhyming. Though the cast way back in the day did say they'd be interested in maybe bringing him back. Who knows? Maybe if Happy Tree Friends makes a comeback, we could see Chef Cookie in his full glory. His full, painfully slow glory. As for my design, I wanted to incorporate the sketch's lanky figure by using Lumpy's design as a reference, combining that with the typical head shape of the critters, which was difficult. You could see in the video I do 2 sketches of Cookie because the original was just not the vibe for me, for lack of better terms. I was debating keeping the claws in the final design, but was unsure of how well that would fit in the style, but eventually decided to go for a happy medium, giving him oven mitts. Safety first, especially when you're in a show where every character gets gored every 3 seconds. I also heard about the fact that Cookie was intended to have a teal color palette. As a fan of blue-green, I was hyped for the colors. I eventually ended up with a palette and a design I really love. This is post-recording Max, and I just want to say, or in the middle of recording Max. I just want to say that I think Cookie's segment is the shortest of the 3, so I'm really sorry to those that are, I'm sorry to the Cookie fans out there that I did dirty by giving him the shortest segment. But here's another few design notes that I have about his character. I really wanted to keep in the little scraggles of hair that he has on his sketch. I think they're really funny. I also, of course, added the stereotypical sloth patterns on his face. It makes him look more tired and exhausted, and maybe implying that that's why he goes so slow, and also because, he's a fucking sloth. I just wanted to add this bit in because, I just felt like I didn't say enough about his design. Another fun fact, I thought that Cookie was a walrus for a little bit. I don't know why, his name is literally Chef Sloth. Next was Pranky, or as they were later called, Jokey. There's not much known about this character besides the fact that they were a deer and obviously a prank master. So I'm going to be giving a lot of my own ideas. Speaking of ideas, Jokey gave me issues in terms of design. For starters, I wanted to make it obvious that Jokey was a deer, using Mime as reference. I'll talk more about Jokey and Mime later, but for now, I'll talk more about the design. Originally, I wanted to lean into the idea of Jokey being a clown, but I thought I'd take away from the charm of the original design, so prankster character it was. The one thing that gave me the most trouble was the concept of giving her poofy hair. I was unsure if it fit a lot of the designs of the show and worried that it would make her design look too cluttered. But I ended up keeping it, even giving her some confetti in her hair, making it look like she just got out of a crazy party. Kept the iconic mismatching shoes, of course. I also made her antlers fake, putting a headband out of them. Or who knows, maybe she just wants them to look fake. Trans rights, happy Pride Month. Speaking of, I decided to make Jokey a girl. Mainly because I love female characters that are a little zany, shouting out Styx the Badger here. Back to Mime, I decided to pick the colors from him because I had this idea that Jokey and Mime are twins. I thought it'd be a bit of fun info on her. I imagined that she'd be a super fun character in the show. Like, her pranks would probably lead to a lot of deaths and stuff. I'm really proud of this design, and she's honestly my favorite out of the trio. Hark! What is that you hear? It is another unscripted Max segment for this video. Like I said, Jokey's probably my favorite out of the cast that I've made thus far for this. And honestly, she's just fun. I feel like if she was in the show, she'd have a lot of deaths like I stated, and she'd probably take the joke way too far. She's annoying, she's stupid, but we love her for it. Honestly, I can imagine, like, a bit, because I grew up with the Smurfs, where Jokey ends up giving one of the characters a present, and instead of their face being covered in, like, you know, soot and stuff like it would in normal cartoons, their face is just literally blown off, gore and all. She is kind of one of the characters that I wish made it into the final show, because it feels like a character that really would have worked for this. Finally, we have Princess and Penny. You may notice I'm only drawing one character. This is because their two concepts were so similar in design that I thought I'd just combine the two into one character. We don't have much detail on Princess or Penny. Looking through the commentary of Oodles and Doodles, none of the crew really say anything about the characters other than, they sure are there! So this is another time where I have to blast my headcanon beam into this beast! But before that, let's talk about her design. Originally, I was gonna make her more of a royal purple because royal purple, get it chat, get it, she's royal purple, princess purple. Okay, but seriously, purple is connected to royalty, and that worked really well in my humble opinion. I really wanted her palette to feature pink, but the darker pink and, you know, the darker purple were really kind of clashing a bit on this. So I decided to change her main purple to a lighter purple, and I really ended up digging it. I really wanted to make sure she didn't just look like Girl Cuddles. I also decided to have her ears be folded down like hair. Like, you know, Lola Bunny and various other female dog characters in media that have the same look. I've always enjoyed that little design trope, it's always really fun. I was going to originally have the dead mink be colored bright pink, implying that she just dunked the dead corpse inside of a bucket of paint, but once again, the colors didn't work and I changed it. Maybe she ordered like a rare albino mink scarf? She'd be the type to do that. Personality time! I like to imagine she won Miss Treetown in a pageant, like, once, and does not let anybody live it down. She's egotistical, she's pompous, she's a bully. She's a stereotypical 2000s mean girl. Not evil like Lifty and Shifty. I really like making annoyances in this universe, where sure, you can't instantly see where things go wrong, but it feels like it could be a lumpy situation where it's a tad less intentional, at least like 80% of the time. 60% of the time? 50% of the time, let's be real. I feel like if anyone quote-unquote threatened Princess's status as Miss Treetown, she'd probably accidentally, in heavy quotes, trip them into a conveniently placed wood chipper. But that's on the intentional side. I can imagine she's probably killed someone with uber-expensive perfume and allergic reactions to said things. She's very ritzy. And that was the video. I know this is like way shorter than most of my other speed paint videos, but I wanted to try something different. I don't tend to script a lot of my content. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this video. But if you do like shorter form content, I'm more than happy to be willing to provide for that. I also just wanted to make something Happy Tree Friends related, considering it's my current hyperfixation. So, I'll see you guys in the next video.